everyone in Pro Property World. My name is Katrina Jones, and today there are two things that I really want to go through with you. The first is to announce the incredibly exciting business partnership that myself and Julie Condliffe have just created, for those of you that don't know or haven't met me. And then the second part is some really great training for you. I have nothing to sell, it's just 100% content and value for you to take away, because we're coming into the new year and having clear, concise goals that are in alignment with who you are so important. So first of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Katrina Jones. It's a pleasure to meet you. And the incredible Julie has recently spoken to me, and we've partnered up for myself to deliver to you as a community the best rent-to-rent training course in the country, and we're very excited about that. So the last session I did with her was to her fabulous mastermind group. So hi to anyone who's watching from the mastermind. And for those of you that are watching and aren't on her mastermind, I would really genuinely just suggest that you reach out and have a chat to either Julie or someone on the mastermind group. If you feel like things like this are going to support you, more information, more advice, more knowledge, and just being empowered and inspired in many different ways on your journey, then the mastermind program Julie's put together is incredible for that. So I would definitely consider it. I've spent quite a lot of time with the mastermind group now, and I would honestly say for the fee versus what they get, it's a no-brainer. So that's that. The second part of the video is to have a chat with you about your goals. So I've got 4 main points that I really want to cover when it comes to goal setting, and it was difficult to choose the 4. But this is over 10 years experience as a business owner and an entrepreneur, and I've pulled together the nuggets that I think are going to make the biggest difference to you. So if you've got a pen and paper or a laptop or a tablet, just grab that now so that you can make some notes. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is SMART goals. Now, many of you have probably heard of this before, but here's the key. And this goes for everything in property. There's a very big difference between knowing something and actually implementing it. You know, you're like, yeah, SMART goals, I've heard of it, great. Have you got your goals written down in the order of SMART? Because most people, including myself, at some point in time when they hear this, haven't. So the first one for S is specific. Your goals need to be specific. So let's just take property and financial freedom for an example. If you just say, I want to be financially free, that is not specific at all, okay? You need clarity. Exactly how much money do you need? And that isn't something to pluck out the air a number, or £10,000 a month, or £20,000 a month, because people just make up these numbers. You're about to work your backside off for probably a decent amount of time to get you and potentially your family where you want you and them to be. So to just make up a number would be borderline crazy. So you want to get really specific. And I've done a very detailed video on how to create your financial goals, short, medium and long term, which if you want to ask Julie for, I'm sure she'll re-upload. So M is measurable. So to just say financial freedom is a little bit blasé. You need to be able to measure it. How do you know when you're financially free? What tangible things are you going to have? You know, exactly how are you going to know when you get there? Can it be measured, or is it just a bit pie in the sky? A is achievable. So when I first started Rent to Rent, I set a really ambitious goal of 10 rent to rents in 10 weeks. Now, that wasn't very realistic. It was exciting and ambitious, but I didn't do it. So how achievable are your goals? Because if you set them too low, then you're not going to push yourself. You're not going to be, you know, fire in your belly, really trying to go for it. But at the same time, if you set them way too high, then you're just going to conk out, and you're going to feel like you're swimming in treacle and not getting anywhere. So you want to make sure that your goals are really achievable. R is realistic. So kind of the same thing. I'm so sorry, I've had a cold and I sound like a really old woman here. I've got a cough, so you have to excuse me. So realistic is how realistic are they? Are you going to be able to do it or not? Really similar to achievable. And T is time bound. So what's the actual time? Because it's easy for people to say things, and this relates to every area of life. You know, I want a six pack. Great. Are you going to eat pizza for the next 6 weeks and then start? Like, when are you going to do it by? So putting a date on your goals is really, really important as well. So that is how to set your goals using the SMART method, and I would really recommend it because it gives you such clarity and it makes your goals really precise instead of a little bit here or there. So the second one is authentic. Now, I talk a lot about authenticity, and the reason why it's a subject quite close to my heart is because I believe a lot of people do what I did when I first started in property, and that is to make the mistake of thinking your goals should be the same as everyone else's, and that the obvious next step in your journey should be obviously what other people are doing as their next step. And that doesn't work. What you'll find is people set their goals, usually if they're doing it properly, in alignment with their values. And if you're looking at someone else who has different values to you and thinking, I should achieve that goal, it's not going to feel good for you. It's not going to flow because their values are different to yours. Therefore, the goals they've set aren't necessarily the goals that line up with your values. For example, and this is just an example, your goal may not be to live in a huge mansion and have really nice cars and watches, etc. It may not be the material things. Now, for some people it is, and that's awesome if it's authentic to them, and they'll probably get there quite easily because that's what they genuinely want. For some people, it may be giving, you know, giving back, giving to others. It may be charity. There's someone incredible on the mastermind whose goal is to build a hospital. You know, so if your goal is to do that and you're thinking, but I should be driving a Lamborghini, it's going to feel yucky. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to flow. So find out what your values are, or get clear on your values. What excites you? When you know when a goal is authentic, it really lights you up. If you write it down and then in a few weeks' time you think, I'm not really interested in that anymore, and it's not inspiring you and it's not motivating you, that's usually a big red flag that your goal isn't authentic to who you are. So make sure that you're setting goals of what you want to do because you want to do it, and make sure it lights you up and sets your soul on fire. And do not, whatever you do, waste time doing stuff because you think you should do it or because that's what everyone else seems to be doing. You've got to do this for you because that's when it gets fun and is a hell of a lot easier. So the third one is to reevaluate. And sorry, the reason why I've said to reevaluate is because when you set your goals as SMART and you get to time bound and you don't hit a goal, the easiest thing in the world to do is just sweep it under the rug and be like, oh, it's fine. That's the worst thing, right? Because it's really demotivating if you don't hit a goal and then you just overlook it like it's no big deal. Hey, we all have goals we don't hit, I promise. But what's really important for you to do is to acknowledge that you didn't meet the goal and to reevaluate. So take that time. Okay, I said financial freedom in 12 months, or I said a six-pack in 6 weeks and it hasn't happened. So how much extra am I going to give myself? Was I unrealistic? In which case, great. Let's go back to being a bit more realistic and achievable and then put the time on it from there. But don't give up. Don't ignore the fact that you didn't hit the goal, okay? And also, it goes the other way too. So if you set a goal of 3 properties in 3 months and you do it in 2.5, celebrate. If you're really driven like me, you'll be like, great, well, let's just do a 4th one in 3 months then. Great, you can do that too. But always celebrate your wins. And wins doesn't have to always just come down to money in the bank. You know, wins can be that first really scary conversation that you have with a letting agent. Let's just take rent to rent, for example. You know, it might just be the first time you do a viewing and you get all the way around the house and you think, oh my God, I really knew what I was looking for. You know, it might be launching your website, printing off your business cards, attending your first networking event. Make sure you celebrate all of the things along the way, not just when the cash lands in the bank. Of course, that's the goal, but you can achieve a hell of a lot more than that on the journey. And then that brings me nicely to my fourth point, which I'm not sure if you can see this, but it says short, medium and long term. So you don't just want to set one chunk of goals and that's it. You want to make sure you've got short term, medium and long term. And the reason why this is so important is because if you only set goals for next week, next month and next year, you're not going to have sight of the bigger picture. So when times get tough and it feels like you're swimming in treacle and, you know, it's really taking something for you to keep going, if you don't have a bigger picture, it's really easy to give up. At the same time, if you just have this great big massive goal that's 5 years down the road, then you're not going to really enjoy and be aware of the short little steps that you're taking to get there. You want to be able to celebrate them, acknowledge them and actually tick them off as you go. So you don't want all your goals right here for the next year and you don't want them all like 10 years away. You want to have them short term, medium term and long term. And that way there's always something you're working towards, but you're always celebrating along as you go as well. So that is it for my 4 top tips for you guys for 2018 when it comes to setting your goals. So I really do hope that this has been of some use, of some support for you all. I wish you all the luck in the world on your journeys through property in 2018. For those of you that I have met, I hope you have had an incredible Christmas, and for those of you I haven't met, I can't wait to see you soon. I will just quickly mention one more time that if you're not on Julie's mastermind, they're the most amazing group of people I've ever met, and I said that to Julie really from the bottom of my heart, that your community is incredible and the mastermind they're just absolutely brilliant. They're the action takers, right? And if you want to be in a certain place or get to a certain place in terms of property and finances, you need to surround yourself with people that are already doing the things you want to do. You want to surround yourself with people that lift you higher, not with anyone that doubts you or questions you or makes you think that maybe you can't do it. That's the place you want to be. So do have a chat with Julie, do have a chat with anyone else on the mastermind. I'm sure if you comment below this video, they'll be willing to reach out a hand and have a chat with you. So once again, it was great to spend some time with you. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you soon. Thanks everyone, bye.